I am Supreme. Today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on Janteyl Danielle Johnson. She is a young African American female who's been missing from Newark, Delaware since February the 3rd, 2010. Today is June 7th, 2025. Janteyl Johnson has still not been found. Okay, so she goes by the nicknames Jay and Puff. Okay, she was born September 8th, 1994. In front of me, I have the planetary alignment of when she was born, and I have the planetary alignment of the last day she was seen. Okay, I am going to be reading the planets and tapping into information to locate Janteyl's whereabouts. Exactly what happened that led up to her disappearance, who's involved in her disappearance, and where she may be at today, and exactly what happened. Hopefully she is alive and well, but if not, we will be proceeding and locating the body and some evidence that can lead us to the body and to people who can be held accountable. Okay, now let's go over the timeline. I watched a few documentaries of Janteyl, so she is well in my energy. I got my cards here. I'm going to be pulling from numerous decks, and I will be showing you the decks that I will be pulling from. But first, let's go over her timeline. Okay, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you will be notified when I drop these investigations. Okay, and also in the link below is a tutorial video where you're able to click on any sign, symbol, planet, or house number that you hear me talk about or that you see me point out in a chart, or any number that you see me pull on a card. Okay, that video is a timestamp video, so you can go directly in that description of that video and click on any sign, any symbol, any planet, any house number. So that way you will understand how I formulate my stories. Okay? So Janteyl Danielle Johnson was a 15-year-old and 5-month pregnant female who vanished February 3rd, 2010. Right, she was 5 months pregnant. Okay, so Janteyl calls her mother from school that day to tell her mother that she wasn't feeling well and she would be leaving early. Okay, footage of Janteyl at a nearby store uh, of her buying snacks and talking on the phone. Investigators said around 12:30 p.m. that afternoon. Okay, so I'm definitely going to be looking inside of the third house because that's going to help me connect the dots on what was going on during those travels. Okay, Janteyl calls her mother again when she got home and asks her mother to call her to wake her up from a nap for school again at 3 p.m. for extracurricular activities. So of course she would have been getting no more than about an hour or 45 minutes of sleep. Okay, because if she was seen at the grocery store around 12:30, she got home somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. Okay, probably took her about a good 10, 15, 20 minutes to fall asleep. It takes all of us that long to fall asleep. Okay, and for her to be back to school at 3 p.m., even if her school was on the same block, she would still have to get up somewhere around 2:30, which would have left her about an hour or so of sleep. So Janteyl's mother called to wake her up, but no answer. Okay, investigators determined that Janteyl also received another phone call at 1:38 p.m., which lasted a few minutes. When family arrived home, Janteyl was nowhere to be found, and she has never been found since. So let's find out what happened to Janteyl Danielle Johnson. She was 5 months pregnant. Okay, so that means her baby would have been due. Let me see, if February was the 5th month, February, March, April, May, somewhere around June, May, June, probably July, she would have been due. So that's all the information that I have. Now I'm going to pull some cards, okay, because I'm tapped into Janteyl's energy. All right. So whether she is dead or alive, I am tuned into her soul. What happened to Janteyl Johnson? If she is no longer with us, she will be assisting me in pulling cards. All right. Y'all ready? Taurus in the 5th house. When Taurus is in the 5th house, Capricorn is rising. Okay? Capricorn is rising. So, Janteyl's sun was in Virgo and her moon was in Libra. Okay? I'm going to be pulling from my Lost and Found deck. Okay? Because we're going to find out some evidence. Where is the body of Janteyl Johnson, dead or alive? All right, so if the sun is in Virgo in a Capricorn rising chart, that means that Virgo is in the 9th house. Okay, Virgo is in the 9th house. That is the house of long distance travel. Okay, I'm seeing already that maybe, because see, when I told you I'm gonna look in the 3rd house, that's Gemini's house. Okay, and in the 3rd house, there was a lot of hidden activity going on, because anywhere you see Pisces represents the hidden activity. Okay, and I'm almost certain that the hidden activity was her meeting up with her baby's father, because Capricorn rising represents the father. All right, she met up with her baby's father and they flew out of the country, because Virgo in the 9th house represents long distance travel. Okay, it also represents churches, so I can see a church involved too. The 9th house also represents grandparents. Okay, there can be a grandparent in the picture as well. Gemini is in Virgo's house. Virgo's house is the 6th house. So her local environment travel, which is what I said I'm going to look up at in the 3rd house, it's hidden. So I have to look at where Gemini is, because we don't know what her travels were like until we look for Gemini. Gemini is in Virgo's house, the 6th house. Okay, so she was traveling with somebody that was going to help her, because the 6th house represents help, who was going to help her to leave town. Now, the day that Janteyl went missing and the day that she was born, the moon was both in Libra. That is a synchronicity. The moon was in Libra the day she was born, And the moon was also in Libra the day she disappeared. So look at where Libra is at. Libra is in the 10th house. And that is Capricorn's house. And Capricorn is rising. So this is the father or the father figure. This also represents marriage. This also represents law enforcement and the relationships thereof. Okay? But being that Virgo is in the 9th house, okay, this can be a relationship with her grandmother. This can be a relationship with her mother-in-law. Okay? Grandmother. Because in Libra's house, I see the family member. That's Cancer. I see the family member. So this relationship, I see a family member in the picture. And the family member is, if it's not her father, because it's definitely her baby's father. But I'm seeing a grandparent in the picture. Maybe somebody that she knows works at the airport. All right. Fire and destruction in the 1st house. That's Capricorn's house. Now, fire and destruction in the 1st house can be something. If she's gone, there was a fire. Elaborate on this fire and destruction in the 1st house. This is my evidence deck. We're going to elaborate on this fire and destruction in the 1st house. Okay? Because this represents... All right. Taurus in the 5th house. The 5th house is the house of children. Okay? And she was 5 months pregnant. Okay? That's not why this 5 came out. But, I mean, it is a synchronicity. But the 5th house is Leo's house. Okay? And Taurus is the energy of money and material. So money and material in Leo's house. And plus Taurus represents natural resources. Okay? So when it's in the house of children, Leo is in the house of death. Okay? Leo is in the house of death. All right? Now, this could be that she got an abortion. She may have gotten an abortion and she may have killed the baby. Because Leo being the energy of children and the 8th house being the energy of death, she may have killed the baby. And if she didn't kill the baby, somebody definitely died. Okay, firearm evidence and weapons. I was going to say that from this spouse. This is Libra's house. Okay, and it's definitely the partner involved. So there was a shooting that took place. I knew this card was going to come out because soon as I seen that fire and destruction card from the lost and found, fire and destruction. Okay, and then the firearm evidence, because I said I'm going to elaborate on this first card. The evidence in the 7th house. So the evidence in the 7th house is where Cancer is. Now, before I say that this evidence is in the hands of the family, okay? Because this just may be an inside job. This authority figure just may be an inside job. I do see the baby's father in the picture. But I also see a grandparent in the picture. And I see a family member that's related to Janteyl. Okay? And this firearm evidence and weapons in the 7th house, that day the moon was in Libra. So this is a relationship. This is one of her partners that killed her. Okay? One of her partners. Let me pull from my crime deck. What crime led up to this? Okay? That fire and destruction card would not have came out along with that firearm evidence if nobody got shot. And they're both from two different decks. All right. In Taurus's house, being that Taurus is in the house of children and Leo is in the house of death, because Leo is the house of children, but Leo energy is in the eighth house of death. Aquarius is in Taurus's house. So the day she went missing, the sun was in Aquarius, and it's in the house of money. That's in Taurus's house. Okay. Also, Venus was there, and Venus rules Taurus. Okay. So she left. When she left, she met up with an individual. She met up with a friend. She might not have met up with with the father of the child. The father of the child is in the picture though, but I don't see her meeting up with him. She may have though, because Mercury on that day was in Capricorn. Yeah, Mercury was in Capricorn. Okay. This could have been law enforcement too. Yeah, this could have been law enforcement. Whoever she was on the phone with at 1:38 p.m. Yeah, because Mars is in Leo on that day. So that's when it happened that day. What is that? Substance abuse in the sixth house. That's Virgo's house. And she is a Virgo. And the sixth house is where Gemini is. Remember, I told you I'm going to look in the third house because that's Gemini's house. But being that Pisces is there, these whereabouts were hidden because anything that Pisces touch is hidden. So I looked to where Gemini was, and it was in the sixth house. Okay, so that call at 1:38 is this person right here. She went to meet up with this person right here. Substance abuse. This is the house of medical. This is the house of employment, work, health. This is Virgo's house. Substance abuse is definitely in the picture. I'm not sure if she was on drugs or whoever she was with was on drugs. I don't know who the father of her child is. Okay. But when this substance abuse card comes out in the sixth house, the energy don't lie. Substance abuse is definitely involved here. Okay. Whether she was abusing medications or abusing drugs, or whether the person she met up with was abusing drugs, maybe something done went down and she got killed and he had to end up hiding the body. Okay. Um, yep. I'm also seeing Janteyl had a very frictional relationship with her family too. Okay. She had a frictional relationship with her mother. It wasn't all peaches and cream. I'm gonna pull from this Who deck so we can locate some suspects and some people that's maybe involved. Okay. I'm also seeing that she didn't have a peaches and cream relationship with her mother, and I feel like it was in direct relation to the fact that Janteyl was pregnant. Okay, her mother did not approve of that. Okay, because I'm seeing Mars, which is the planet of war. I'm seeing it in the family, and I'm also seeing it in Leo. I'm seeing it in Cancer, which is this right here. This seventh house card where the firearm evidence and weapons is at. Okay. Mars is also here the day she was born. Okay. And that is the mother. Okay. That's the mother. That's the family member. I'm calling it as I see it. I see the grandmother. I see a grandmother in the picture. Look at that. Another seventh house card. The victim. This is the partner. See, these seventh house cards, this is Libra's house. And Libra's in the 10th house. And the moon was in Libra when this all happened. The moon was even in Libra when she was born. Okay? So she's a victim. She's a victim. Yeah, she's a victim. Hold up. Let me pull another card from the Who deck. She's a victim of gun violence. Yep. From somebody that was on drugs. Yep. Somebody that was selling drugs. Mm-hmm. She was involved with somebody selling drugs. Yep. I'm seeing that. Yeah. And this individual that was selling drugs is the one that killed her. It could be the father of her child. Or maybe he wasn't the father. Or maybe she was playing games with the wrong one. Another sixth house card. Physical evidence in the sixth house. That's the house of health. Okay? That is the house where this substance abuse is at. Okay? The drugs. Now, whenever this physical evidence card comes out, I always pull again from my evidence deck. Because we were looking for an actual suspect or a victim, but the physical evidence card came out. And that's when I go to my evidence deck again. Because the first evidence that came out was the firearm evidence, which is in the house of partnership. That's Libra's house, which is where either her or I see a mother. I don't know. I just seen a flash before my eyes. I seen the mother's boyfriend in the picture. I don't know. He might be the father of the child, and he probably had to get rid of her. I'm just saying. I'm speaking out there. I'm speaking with all the alternatives that I can see with these cards. That's a possibility. The mother's boyfriend, who is the actual father of the child. Look at that. Another seventh house card. Impression evidence. All right. Impression evidence. That is tire tracks, shoe prints, and tool marks. Yeah, whenever this evidence, because this is a new deck, so I still got to look at the template in front of me of the evidence. When this card comes out, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's in the seventh house. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's in the seventh house. Tire tracks, shoe prints, and tool marks. Okay? It's a lot of seventh house cards. And the moon was in Libra. So we got to focus on this seventh house. And that's where Cancer is. Okay? So the family member that we're talking about is the person she's in a relationship with. Okay? And then Venus, which rules Libra, is in Aquarius. It was in Aquarius when she went missing. Now check this out. And it's in Aquarius's house in Scorpio the day she was born. So this individual that she met up with, okay, that was involved in selling these drugs, okay, was the one that killed her. That was the one that killed her. The person she was in a relationship with. So if the family knows who she was in a relationship with, they need to question that individual. He could be a foreigner because I'm seeing the ninth house. Okay. Nothing came out in the ninth house, but her son is there. The sun is in the ninth house in Virgo. Okay. And that's where I'm seeing a foreigner, somebody that she worked with. Okay. Um, it could be a college student because the ninth house does represent colleges, or somebody that works at a college. Okay. I'm seeing that too. Okay. I'm also seeing a grandparent in the picture. And I'm also seeing long distance travel. But somebody got killed, and I'm quite sure, sadly, it was Janteyl. Yeah. All right. I'm going to pull again from this Lost and Found. Something led me to pull from the Lost and Found again. Once I pull from this Lost and Found, I'm going to look at her actual birth chart, and I'm going to look at the chart the day she died. I'm going to apply these cards to that chart as well. Because the chart I'm looking at now is a Capricorn rising chart, because the first card that was pulled was Taurus in the fifth house. So that gave me a lot of information. It gave me information on the father figure and the person that she met up with. Okay, a building. A building in the second house. This could be the trap house. Okay, because this is where Aquarius is. The person that was substance abuse. The person that she was that was dealing those drugs. When the building card comes out in the second house where Aquarius is, okay, it could be in an abandoned building. Yep, I'm seeing an abandoned building because in the second house, Aquarius was there the day she went missing. Okay, and then Venus was there also. So she was lured with this person to this place. And that's where all of this took place at. So if her body is dead, which I believe it is, it's in an abandoned building. Now, her birth chart, when the sun is in Virgo and the moon is in Libra, y'all know how I formulate time. I put Libra, which is the moon, in Virgo season. Virgo's house, which is the sixth house. Okay? When Libra is in the sixth house, Taurus is rising. When Taurus is rising, that is the first card that was pulled. The, this is Taurus. Now, this is rising. This is in the first house now. And we're going to look at what happened from that angle. So when Taurus is rising, look where this second house card is. Aquarius is in the 10th house. Okay? And Gemini, which was the traveling that she was doing with this substance abuse, for substance abuse, with substance abuse, or with the person that was dealing drugs, because substance abuse in the sixth house is the drug dealer. Okay? So that is now in the second house of money. This was about money. Yeah, this dealing was about money. She was involved with a drug dealer. She was involved with a drug dealer. And I'm also seeing that this guy is a foreigner. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that this guy was a foreigner. Mm-hmm. This guy was a foreigner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This guy was a foreigner. It could be somebody that she works with, but I don't know what type of job she had if she was working. Let me see, 15? Yeah, you could work at 15. Because I'm seeing a lot of sixth house too. But and the physical evidence in this chart is with the partner. Hmm. So the partner is still at large. Once they find that foreigner, they're going to find everything they need. Once they find that foreigner, they're going to find everything they need. They're going to find the physical evidence, all of that. Yeah. Yep. So y'all tell me what y'all think. First, hold up. Before we leave, hold up. Let me pull her missing chart right quick. The day she went missing, February 3rd, 2010, the sun was in Aquarius and the moon was in Libra. So y'all know how I pull information. I put Libra inside of Aquarius's house. Aquarius is the 11th house. Okay? When Libra is there, Sagittarius is rising. That is the energy of the foreigner. Yep. This is a foreigner. Yep, this is a foreigner. Mm-hmm. Yep, this is a foreigner. And I think this is the baby daddy too. Or either the man who convinced her, who she convinced was the baby's father. He is a drug dealer. Maybe she convinced him that he's the father because she know he gets money. Or maybe he really is the father. And something that went down, because she's no longer with us. I can guarantee you that. She's no longer with us. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you will be notified when I drop these investigations. Until then, y'all be blessed.